As an introduction to our work, we can say that marriage is an institution present all around us all the time. Married couple passing in the street, a church with a bell ringing, friends who are engaged, ourselves living with wife or husband. Marriage is, one way or another, a part of our everyday. This is why we decided, from a common agreement, to work on it. But we chose a specific kind of union, the same-sex marriage. Our choice settled on that issue because it's currently on the front page of actuality. This study will bring us to have a look on the European situation and then more specifically on the French case. The work we are introducing here is a work about politics, about progress, about society, about equality, and about love. We are going to divide our work in several axes to answer to the questions raised by this kind of wedding. What the history of the institution? Why gay unions raise debates? What are the different steps in the progression of equality for gay and lesbians? In what extent can we compare the European countries? Why the French case is very specific? And then, what can we conclude? I let my friend Roman present you the history of the institution.
An institution history. Marriage is since immemorial time a contract that two people signed which gives them rights and duty one to the other. It has been invented during the Roman time. At that time, marriage enables men to constrain and lead women to guarantee their descendants. From this moment, women are only considered as spouses. They were under their husband's tutelage. At that time, marriage was also considered as a family marriage. The girl's family chose a good match, that is to say, a wealthy, high social level boy, and made some agreements to define a kind of prenuptial agreement. In compensation, the girl will have to pay a dowry. That's how marriage was defined for many centuries. In the Middle Age, religion gave to the act of marriage a sacred character, and made the women also becoming the gods' wives. This concept of marriage lasted till the end of the 18th century. Indeed, the divorce was firstly authorized in 1792, but refuted in 1816 because of its success, but was finally established once for all in 1884. Married couples can since get divorced when they want for any reason for the law's eyes, even if it's not always the case in the facts. Thanks to that, women are not considered only as lying hen anymore. Today, the marriage such as we know it is called the love match. It has been promoted during the 19th century. This marriage ties the love between two people and put an end to the marriage between two families, or to the marriage only for the security of the descendants, or just to the religious marriage. It's defined as a sentimental act where two people are considered equal, and woman is not anymore under her husband's tutelage, even if this phenomenon took time to settle, and even if it's not true for all the areas of the world. Indeed, it's especially true for the Occident. In our society, this celebration between two humans is a celebration of their love, and that's why same-sex people who love each other express the will of celebrating this love.
The debates raised by the same-sex marriage. The union of two people of the same sex leads to many politics, which are quite similar for all the countries. People who stand against union for people of the same gender are more traditionally belonging to the right side of the political opinion, even if it's not always the case. Those people have a conservative vision of life and of family, so they are not comfortable with the fact that people of the same sex can be in love one with another, as for them it's against the natural laws. Homosexuality stays taboo for a part of the opinion. Indeed, for a long time, affairs between people of the same sex were hidden, as their sexuality was judged as decadent. However, this phenomenon tends to disappear with time, but it hasn't completely been forgotten. So, for some people, the legalization of any kind of union between homosexuals rhymes to approve those sexual practices, and they cannot accept that. The legalization of marriage for all kinds of couple leads to a debate about adoption, as when a couple is married, it can adopt. The debate about adoption is setting in order to define if yes or no it's a prejudice for a child to have two parents of the same gender. There is a huge and violent opposition on that issue, backed up on the both sides by scientists. A strong opposition to same-sex union is also conveyed by some religions. For example, Christianity and Muslims fight against this union because this union is prohibited in their sacred texts. Nevertheless, it doesn't mean that all the people belonging to these religions are standing against gay marriage. It depends on how people interpret and live their religion.
Plurality of them. According to the country, the rights for homosexuals are not the same, are not as elevated everywhere, and has non-different steps. We are going to focus on Spain, England, Portugal, Belgium, Germany, and France. In Spain, same-sex marriage has been legal since July 2005. The idea was brought by the Democratic Prime Minister of the moment, José Zapatero. He began the campaign in 2005. The campaign included the right of adoption for gay couples. Spain has been the third country in the world to allow same-sex marriage, after Belgium and Netherlands. During the first year of the law, about 4,500 couples married in Spain. In England, the law to recognize same-sex marriage is currently passing. It already has the votes of the Assembly, but it has to be examined by the courts of the Lords. However, a civil partnership for the people of the same sex is possible since 2005, but it does not have the same value than an actual marriage.
In Portugal, same-sex marriage has been legal since June 2010. Nevertheless, it's the only country where marriage is allowed and recognized, but where the adoption is denied. It can be surprising that Portugal has accepted the marriage for all, as it has a conservative opinion, generally speaking, and a deep respect of Christian principles. In Belgium, the law for same-sex marriage enacted in October 2004, and the right to have a civil union has been passed since 1999. However, Belgium has put some rules for homosexuals' weddings. Indeed, it accepted to marry foreign couples only if their country of origin accepts that kind of union, in order to avoid any diplomatic conflict. So, an Italian couple cannot marry in Belgium, as same-sex marriage is not allowed in Italy. In Germany, civil union is recognized, but the project of peer proposed to the Assembly has been rejected in 2012. One would require the next step of progress. The French case is a little bit particular, as it slaughters the country in two camps. We are going to study it closer in the next part.
Part 4. The French case. France is torn in two parts for few weeks between the one supported the gay marriage and the right of adoption and the one categorically against it. This project of bill was in the programme of the former candidate for the presidential and now elected François Hollande. Since 1999, the Pax, a civil union, is authorized for the same-sex couple, but it doesn't have the same legal guarantees than the actual marriage. Since November 2012, a huge debate has started in France to know if yes or no the French people were ready to accept this bill. In the Assembly, a huge debate took place between the representatives, a violent debate. The side defending the bill, led by Mrs. Taubira, Justice Minister, won the first game the 11th of February 2013. The Assembly votes yes to the same-sex marriage. However, the law has to pass in front of
the Senate.
Le scrutin est clos. Voici le résultat du scrutin. Votant 568, suffrages exprimés 558. Majorité absolue, 280. Pour, 329. Contre, 229. L'Assemblée nationale a adopté.
So, gay marriage could illustrate two notions. The first is myth and heroes, because some of the world-renowned stars are gay, like Elton John, Ava Meg, or Cizor. In another way, it could illustrate the idea of progress, because we could clearly see an evolution. Before, homosexuality was considered like a disease. First president of the United States said homophobic, and the religion said that it is a demoniac insanity. But nowadays, people talk about it and just want to legalize it. So, there is a revelation of minded about this issue, and especially in Europe. As we can see, the issue and the debate on same-sex marriage are complex, and that's the fact that even in Europe, a coalition of countries with a part of a common culture, the social ideas are different. We can also notice the fact that France, the country of human rights and of state protection, have problems to get through this progress, while a country like Portugal has not such oppositions. So, even if the economic agreements can establish a quite general agreement in Europe and a good relations between countries, the social steps are still divided. Are we really going to a European culture as governments are pretending, or are we just an economic association like the Helena?